Hey everybody, I thought I'd show you guys this little mount that I made for my fish finder on my Old Town Autopilot 120. Sitting in the seat, if you can tell, but that track is really, really far away from the seat. And I want my graph a little bit closer to me. And one of the things is that there's a forward-facing rod holder right here that normally goes there. It matches the one that's over here on this side. But if you put the graph right there, I mean, the closest you can put it is right here. If you can't even put it all the way to the front of that. So if you put your graph there, you can't use the front forward facing rod holder anyway, because your rod will interfere with it. So I went ahead and took it out, and I just cut this square block out of a piece of black cutting board, HDPE cutting board. I'll leave a link below. And then I took the factory through-hole kit that was over there, and I just put it right here, and the wires are actually running through where the rod holder goes, so I didn't drill any holes. I just used the factory holes, screw mounts. So those are the same 3 holes that are over here. I just laid it out and used the existing ones, and then I'm going to put on this Scotty 1.5" ball mount to hold my graph. So I'll do that next, but I wanted to show you guys the screws underneath that before I put it on there. So I'll screw that on and then show it to you guys. Alright, as you can see, it's installed and it's at the perfect distance for me to still use it. You can hit all the buttons, touch the screen, mark, change the graph, whatever. It's about 12 inches closer than the closest spot I can get on the track. I don't know why the tracks are so far away on this kayak. One of the pet peeves of a lot of guys who have this kayak. But like I said, it's 12 inches closer, but it's still far enough away that I could paddle into the launch. I don't paddle a lot, but I paddle every time I go out. So when I'm launching to get away from shore, I usually paddle out before I drop my drive, and then put my paddle away, and then when I'm coming back to the shore, or if there's a lot of stumps or rocks in an area, weeds, I'll paddle through that. So I will paddle occasionally every single trip. If I was going to be paddling a long distance, I would probably lay it down more like that. And then that moved it 6 inches, probably even further away. I can still use it comfortably, but then I could paddle all day long and not hit it. It wouldn't be in the way. It doesn't touch my leg in either position, so that's nice. It's not like it's interfering with my knee space. And it's just in the very perfect spot. Another great thing about it is it gives me my rod holder back. If my fish finder was mounted here and I was having to reach forward, if I wanted a rod holder on this side of the boat, I'd have to scooch up to get my rod out of the rod holder every single time, and that's really annoying. But with this, I still have to lean forward, but that's not a big deal. I don't catch that many fish, so anyway, I know they make handle mounts. I could have bought one of those and mounted it on the handle. But like I said, my big concern with that was I paddle a lot, so that's like right in the path of my paddling. But with this, it's perfect. The through-hole mount, I used the one that came with the boat. It comes with a cap that has the Old Town logo on it. But when you want to run wires through it, you take that cap off and they give you another piece that works with the mount, and then that's what runs your wires. So that cap that I wasn't going to be using, I cut a piece of Folgers coffee can lid. It's a black plastic lid, and I just cut that the shape of the cap, glued that over the holes, and put the cap right over it, screwed right through it. So it's perfectly waterproof and it looks clean and factory. So it's right up there, and you can't tell that it's not from the factory, but it's nice and waterproof. And I just used the one that came with it, so that didn't cost me anything. I really like this Scotty ball mount. This is the 1.5 fish finder mount. The balls are 1.5 and it's pretty sturdy. With the mount itself here, I don't know if you can see it on that camera, but I showed in the other little clip the screws underneath the mount. But what I didn't say in that was I also put some 3M 30-pound mounting tape underneath this, so that waterproofs it and it gives it more holding power. Because I didn't know if those three screws would be enough. I figured they would because these rod holders are really strong. But you got a lot of leverage up here, and if I bump this or something, I didn't want to rip any screws out. So the mounting tape waterproofs it and gives it extra holding power. That's pretty much it. The cutting board itself, I'll leave a link below. I bought the 18 by 24 inch piece, and it was $36.99 or something on Amazon. And you know, the little block I cut out of it's only 3 by 5 ish, somewhere in there. I can't really remember. So I still have a ton of it left. So the piece itself doesn't cost a lot, but I had to buy a bigger piece. But I think you can get a smaller, like 12 by 18 inch piece for 20 bucks. And that will make, I mean, it would probably make, I don't know how many, 10? Plus you have a bunch to make other stuff. So if you make kayak stuff, it was definitely worth it. But it's, I mean, the cheapest is going to cost you some time and about 20 bucks, unless you can find a piece of 3/4 inch cutting board cheaper somewhere else. I just built it with regular woodworking tools that I have. I cut it with a hand saw to the square. I filed all the saw marks off and then sanded it. Then I went over the corners, the top corners, with a rounding bit. And then after that was all done and sanded, I hit it with a heat gun, and that glosses it all back over. So it looks like a factory piece. I think it looks really nice, especially with the factory mount. And I didn't have to screw any holes into my kayak. And it just works out really, really perfect. I get my fish rod back and all the tracks, so everything's good. Thanks for watching, everybody.